we went from having $68,000 when we were on the show to airing on Shark Tank, and we made like, I think it was like almost $300,000 like that night.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So it works. That's so sick.
Yeah.
But I've been nuts, like getting money, I'm on my thug again. Tryna stack a little dub, tryna catch a win. And next time I drop a coupe, it's gonna be a twin turbo. Always been a G, but I ain't never been a herb though. Way I'm switching lanes, this shit.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Millennial Mentality Podcast. It is your boy Pete, and I'm here with Papo Taco and our very first guest of Season 2, Shirah Benarde.
Hello, it's awesome to be here.
Glad to have you, man. We're really excited. So, we can see that you got it in front of you. I'm super stoked to talk to you. We've got some cool stuff to cover. And this isn't your first time on a podcast either. You're pretty comfortable in front of the camera.
I would say it's not my first time. I also just launched one of myself, and I know how it is to be on the other side and be a host. So yeah.
How's that been? Is that fun, or what's going on?
It's a learning experience. Yeah, it's interesting, like kind of figuring out how to make other people comfortable in a environment like that. But yeah, I mean, you learn along the way, and so far it's going good.
What's the name of your podcast? Give yourself a little shout out.
It's called In Your Dreams because I thought of Nightcap, the product that we will probably be talking about today, in a dream when I was sleeping.
I like that. That's great. Cool. Okay, sweet. All right, so let's jump into Nightcap because I think that'll be probably the main topic of discussion today.
Yeah.
You invented this when you were 16 years old. Is that right?
I did. I had a friend that was roofied at the bar, and I say that I slept on it because a couple weeks later I went to bed and thought of this product in my sleep. So it basically just kind of formed as I was sleeping. Like, people are like, what do you mean? Like, it literally just formed in my head. And when I woke up, I was like, this is a life-saving product. Why are there no solutions to drink spiking? This has to be something that we actually take action. You know, people think of ideas and they just kind of let them sit. But when you're 16, you have nothing to lose.
Yeah. Okay.
You're just kind of doing your homework. And yeah, I mean, it was a fun little project in the beginning. And now we've sold over like 500,000, I think.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what were you doing at 16 prior to thinking of this idea? Did you have like a job, or did you always know that this was kind of gonna like be the entrepreneurship route that you wanted to go?
Honestly, I probably didn't have a job. I did like summer camp jobs. Like, I would be like a gymnastics coach, if you want to consider that, if that counts. But yeah, I was just going to school. I went to school locally here, and
You're from West Palm originally?
Yeah, I went to Oxbridge Academy.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, and
shout out Parker Lenoso. We had him on the podcast in the past.
Shout out, don't know you, but shout out. Yeah, so I went there, and I was just like, going to school. I wasn't a good student, but I was taking like an entrepreneurship class at the time. Okay. And so I would go to my entrepreneurship teacher, and I was like, what do you think of this? He was like, that's actually not a bad idea. So I got that opinion, and then...
And what, you showed him the prototype?
I didn't even actually, yeah, I did have a prototype by then. And
so tell us about the prototype. What was that like?
Yeah, so the morning after I thought of it, I sat down with my dad, and instead of explaining it to him because it made no sense, actually we didn't even say what it was, but it's a scrunchie, and inside the scrunchie, there's a drink cover, and you put it over your drink so you don't get roofied at the bar. There's also a straw hole. So when I sat down with my dad, I was like, instead of explaining it to him, I kind of wanted to show him what I meant. And I went upstairs, grabbed my mom's pantyhose and a scrunchie from my room, and that's how I created the first prototype.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, so. And
so that's what you took to your entrepreneurship teacher?
I took a picture, and I was just like, what do you think? But obviously, I was 16. I was like, what do you guys think of that? I was asking everyone around me, and people were like, that's so stupid, la, la, la.
Really? There was negative feedback?
Oh, 100%.
Okay. There's always negative feedback.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. I remember the people who were negative about it, too, which is funny.
Yeah.
You always remember them.
You always remember, for
Never.
sure.
Yeah, no.
And so what were the next few steps after that, those early days?
So, to be honest with you, like, my parents are entrepreneurs, so I had no idea what to do. And my brother was away at FSU.
Go Noles.
Go Noles, yeah. So I asked one of my friend's moms, I was like, what do I do with this? And she said, go get a patent. So my dad and I went to a patent attorney, and then we found a graphic designer to create the logo. Called up a seamstress to create the first couple prototypes, and then my brother came home from Florida State, and he was like, well, I'm on a college campus, and I know how bad this stuff is, and there's no solutions on the market. So he dropped basically everything to just start working on it, and now we're business partners.
Wow, that's dope.
Awesome.
What was your brother's like plan before Nightcap?
He was actually working on like some cryptocurrency thing. I was like, you're a loser.
You just triggered so many people. I love it though. That's great.
To be fair, I know nothing about it, so you can come for me. It's fine.
Well, that's cool, man. That's cool that your brother recognized the potential and you guys dove into it together.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you ultimately wound up on Shark Tank.
Ultimately, yes.
How did that come about?
So during COVID, we weren't selling anything or really doing anything because no one's going out.
Sure.
They don't need the product. So we just applied for it online and waited a couple months, got a call back, and just kept getting calls back. And then it was like August of 2020, and we went and filmed it in Vegas, but we had to quarantine because it was COVID. So we stayed in a hotel room for 10 days.
Interesting.
And I was actually a minor, so my dad had to come with us, and we got like 2 connecting hotel rooms, but we couldn't leave the room. And the 10th day they come and grab you, and you just go and pitch, and it's the scariest thing ever.
So that's how it goes about getting on Shark Tank. It's something you apply for?
You can apply, you can go to a casting for it, or they can scout you.
Okay.
So 3 different ways to do it, but very cool.
And so, as a person who's watched a lot of Shark Tank, I feel like there really aren't a lot of bad, like, presenters on there. Like, everyone sort of seems to have the same, like, cadence when they present, and it seems very well prepared. Did they like assist you with that or something? Or and do you know what I'm talking about? Have you watched like a good amount of Shark Tank yourself?
Oh yeah.
Everyone's sort of, not to say the presentations are all the same, but everyone like sounds pretty uniform, you know?
Yeah.
Is there any like coaching that goes on prior, or like how does it end up that way?
I think what it is that no one knows what they're doing. So like you watch all of the episodes before you go on, and you're like, oh, this is probably how it should be.
Okay,
you know? So you're just, I mean, everyone's very enthusiastic because you want to deal.
Kind of have to be.
You have to be, and you have to go in there and like be excited about your products and everything, and it is a crazy experience just being in there. Some people are in there for like 2 hours, and they only film like or air like 5 to 12 minutes. I don't know.
No way.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So what are they doing for 2 hours?
Just talking
Pitching.
Numbers, and like the pitch is only in a minute and a half, but then after that they're asking questions, and
The deal might not get done as quick as they show it on TV.
Oh yeah. Like
Wow.
not at all. No.
Interesting.
But
So did you and your brother like rehearse quite a bit beforehand then? Because I mean, I watched the episode. You guys were dialed. Like the presentation was good.
Oh yeah, no, we were rehearsing a lot. Like especially being trapped in the hotel room for 10 days. Like what else?
Yeah.
What else
are you
can you
gonna
do?
do?
Yeah, and if we went in there unprepared, I would have probably fainted or something. But we were very prepared. We watched all the episodes to grasp what they would ask us.
Yeah.
And the pitch, as you were saying before, like you work with the producers to like get your pitch down, and
Okay.
that's kind of what you work on with them. But
Yeah.
it's a whole process, like truly. But they're not like you need to act this way.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you guys did great. I was super impressed with the pitch. You definitely like knew your stuff, and it seemed pretty seamless.
It's
Were you
great.
super nervous?
Yeah, like there's 2 doors that open
Yeah.
before, and the first door, like you're just waiting behind there. They just put you there for like 5 minutes. You're like, I'm gonna be watching this for the rest of my life. So it's very scary. But once the doors open, and you see Mr. Wonderful's head in the middle right there, and there's no music, like on the show how there's like that like theme music.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's just silent.
It's silent. It's crazy. It's so weird. And then
That's so funny.
you like have to stand on this carpet for like a minute and just kind of stare at them.
Wow.
And then
Well, they get like the shots that they need or something. Oh,
that's exactly
man.
right. Yeah.
So, did you pitch this to anyone before Shark Tank at all?
My brother, he was going to Florida State, so he pitched he won like
Like
4.
bars or something?
Well, Not really. He did 4 pitch competitions and he won all of them,
Oh, okay.
which
Wow.
is how we like raised the money to start the business.
All right.
But I mean, even today, we don't really go into bars and pitch it that much, just because it's so much easier for bars to come to us, and it's
You guys are popping like that.
yeah. I mean, where we do well, like obviously it's not everywhere. Like
Sure.
it could be everywhere.
It should be.
It should be everywhere. Yeah.
So what's your business model then? Like, do you ideally want to sell directly to the girl that's going to wear the scrunchie, or would you rather be selling in bulk to a bar who's then going to provide it to the customers themselves?
Both, but we do a lot of the bulk orders. Also, that's our first product. So we just came out with our cooler cover,
Okay.
which is a koozie.
Yeah.
And we came out with beer bottle tops. I've actually brought you guys some.
Sick.
Bottle top.
But
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
You know
Cool.
when you're drinking a beer and people kind of put their thumb over it?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like we have little bottle tops now, and they come with 3 and they go on your keys. So you kind of have them like
So
whenever.
your keys are hanging from the bottle top.
So the little tops go inside of this like pouch,
Okay.
and the pouch is connected to your keys. So
Cool.
the bottle top is separate.
Okay.
But we also have that like the whole scrunchie product, but on a keychain. So
Cool.
we have like all these different products, but we'd sell the scrunchie, and we do all of it in bulk, and we do all of it
Yeah.
B2B and B2C. So it's like it's both, but obviously when we want schools and liquor companies and bars to come to us and even customize them and give them out to people for free.
Sure. They could like brand it with their logo or something.
Yeah, we've actually done like Bacardi and Grey Goose and
Damn.
That's pretty cool.
That's big, yeah.
yeah.
I like that you guys, from the beginning, and it sounds like with the bottle top, even still, have always thought about how to make it something that's easy to bring with you everywhere. You know, it's not like you're having to stick this object in your pocket and remember to bring it. But yeah, I'm assuming you made it a scrunchie so that a girl could easily walk around with it on her wrist, you know, and just take it wherever she wanted to go around the bar.
Right. So the whole point, I guess, is to make it a fun solution to a serious problem
Yep.
and to make it convenient. So you don't want to just bring a lid out with you to the bar.
Yeah.
It's more like convenience and fashionable. Yeah, that's
No,
That's
you
the
guys nailed it, I think. That's really cool.
thank you.
So ultimately, you got a deal on Shark Tank, right?
We did. We got a deal with Lori for
Mhm.
25% for $60,000. Our company was valued at like $240,000. If you go in there and ask for we didn't want to go in there and ask for a ton of money because
Mhm.
we didn't want to get laughed at.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
So I think it was fair, at the time especially, and she's super cool to work with. We also have another investor who's in the music industry. Her name's Julia Michaels,
Okay.
and she's singer-songwriter.
Yeah, she sounds familiar.
She sings that song.
Country?
She has a song with Morgan Wallen, but
Okay.
she sings like Issues, and she has a song with like Trippie Redd and
Okay, dope.
Okay, no, I know the issue
um,
song for sure.
Yeah, that one's pretty big.
So Lori's still involved.
Yeah, I mean she'll be involved for forever pretty much.
And
So-
how hands-on is that relationship? Like, how's that work?
So it's basically like whenever you need her. I think depending on the companies, all the sharks are like hands in or hands kind of in
Yeah, sure.
on some of them. But yeah, like whenever you need them, they're there.
And is it like you've got Lori's number and you're reaching out, or is there like a chain of command or something?
I have Lori's number.
That's cool.
It's pretty cool.
It's a funny story. After our Shark Tank episode, she texted me about it, and I didn't answer because I didn't have the number.
Mm.
So the next day she's like, "Did you get this? It's LG." I'm like, "LG."
No
way.
She was pretty stoked when, like, again, I watched the episode, and when she made the deal, it was something that she was super passionate about. She really admired what you guys had come up with, and was definitely felt very strongly about the problem you were trying to solve.
I was extremely grateful for that too, because it's like when someone like that gets behind your product and says all of those things about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
It brings more confidence too.
100%. It's like, wow, like someone's validating what I've created here, and then it's also just like the amount of people who are like, oh, if Lori likes it, I like it,
Yeah, right.
So.
And I mean, you were 17 at that time. Like, that must have felt crazy being so young, but also being validated by someone so much older and wiser and with so much experience in the
I know.
business field. Like, that must have been a crazy feeling.
Such a crazy feeling. It's like,
I have a question though. Like, so how does this happen? Was this like a dream? Like, you said your friend got roofied, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it must have like caused some traumatic action to you or your friend, enough for you to like think about something and like take action. Because I think like we all have good ideas, especially at that age, and then like we don't act upon it. So like, what really like?
I think, well, a big part of it was, you know, I thought of the problem, and I was like, oh, I'm going to college in a couple years, I guess it was. Like, I could use this, and so can my friends. And so it was like, oh, I could actually help, like, the girls around me.
Help a lot of people, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And then, you know, as you get older, and now I'm like, well, I hear a story every single day about someone being roofied.
Yeah.
And even then, like, I knew, you know, my friend had been roofied, but then it's like, you continue to hear stories, and when there's actually nothing to help the problem, it's like, why not just go for it? Because I don't know, it just kind of came to me, and I was like, what? It's just so.
When it makes sense, it
it's
makes
just,
sense.
right?
I got roofied once actually.
Really?
Did you?
Yeah, in Mexico. I lived in Mexico, and I went out to a club. I was 17 at the time, and they put some like hydrochloric drops on our chasers. Actually, it wasn't even on the alcohol. And
Damn.
we blacked out, and I ended up in the hospital. I ended up like pissing out like 2 cups of liquor. Like, it was bad. Yeah, I was throwing up blood. It was terrible.
Holy shit.
So like I understand like the severity of all this.
Yeah.
We gotta get you a
Pretty crazy.
nightcap.
Yeah, dude.
It's a
I
huge
mean,
problem.
yeah. I should have had a nightcap that
Yeah.
time.
Maybe a bottle top.
Right.
Well, yeah. There's this one. We have an Amazon review that's from this girl, and she says that like she had the nightcap on her drink, and she was at a club, and she walked out into like the better lit lobby, like so it was like light in the
Right.
room, and she said that there was like a pill on top of the nightcap.
It's like someone tried to dose her but didn't realize. Holy shit, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So I imagine, yeah, I mean, you guys have been in business for a few years now. Do you get a ton of messages from people who have either like that seen a benefit directly from your product, or people who have reached out saying, I think what you're doing is great because I went through this?
I mean, all of the above. Like, we get, oh, I was roofied and I'm scared to leave the house, and now I can because of your product.
Wow.
We get, this happened to me, and I wish I could have had this then.
Yeah.
But every
Yeah.
time, you know, every time I talk about the product, it's like, oh, I wish it's like, I know someone who XYZ, or me,
Right.
myself, and I, like, there's always a story.
Yeah. Well, that must be even that much more motivation to like keep it going, you know, and keep innovating new products like you've been doing. 'Cause,
100%,
I mean,
yeah.
clearly you're making an impact and helping people, which is dope.
And I think at this point, it's like, after like a review like that, it's like, how many other people has that happened to that haven't written a review?
Yeah, right. Because I mean, I've bought hundreds and hundreds of products. I've never written a single review. It doesn't mean they didn't benefit me. You know, like for every one person that writes a review, there's probably thousands that felt the same way but just didn't take the time to write a review.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You said you sell this on Amazon as well?
Amazon, and we have a website, Nightcap.
So how much does the nightcap go for?
These are like $12, but if you wholesale them, they're half the price.
Wow.
And
Okay.
I think the beer bottles are like $9, or the beer caps. All of it's like pretty similar in price.
So you got the deal with Lori. Did you go in there hoping to like land with a certain shark, or were you just hoping to get a deal in general? Or?
I actually wrote it down. I was like, we're gonna get a deal with Lori.
So you
Oh,
manifested
nice! You
it.
manifested
Oh.
it. I love that.
Yeah.
My dog. Well, that's dope.
I also believe I manifested Shark Tank in a way. Like,
Yeah.
How so?
Yeah. My brother and I used to watch it when we were kids.
Yeah.
And like I would watch the TV and be like, "That's."
I'll be there one day.
I'd be like, "That's actually." I was like, "I want to do that. Like, that's not impossible. Like, I'll probably do that." And like so delusional, you know. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe not.
Nah, not at
Well,
all.
like delusional in the way that like, why was I thinking like that? Like so many
Sure.
people look at the show and they're like, "I wish I could do that."
Yeah.
Like. You just have
Had
to-
you like always had the like inventor mindset? Like, was there anything that you had thought of before Nightcap that maybe you just didn't act on or didn't make as much sense? But like, did you always think that way, or this was just a thing?
Yeah, no, I think I always thought that way, like, definitely, like, a problem solver mindset. I came up with this, like, I went to my entrepreneurship teacher before Nightcap, and I was like, what about marijuana Band-Aids?
Oh shit.
Like you can cure your like whatever it is with weed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. That's
CBD.
dope.
That's the
I think it's
thing.
already invented though.
Yeah,
I think,
right.
I
Like
think
the
it-
patches.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
But this was like 4 or 5 years ago. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it had come out. It was out though, and I thought it was like the coolest idea. I was like, let's do this.
You had the right mindset though.
But yeah.
I like that. So immediately following Shark Tank and landing the deal, like what are the next steps? You've got this money now. You've got this new partner.
How long does it take? Like,
Yeah. What's the process like after?
end the show? What's going on the next day?
The next day you're like freaking out. Actually,
Yeah.
well, it's
for sure.
crazy because you can't tell anyone. So
Okay.
you go
like
months,
until it airs or something.
like a month before it airs.
How long does it take for it to air?
Ours was about 6 months, I think.
Wow.
So we filmed August 2020 and aired in February of 2021. So I think it's different for everyone, but it's crazy because I'm very superstitious. So I was like, I can't go telling a bunch of people, like not even really my friends, because I just feel like
That's so hard.
they don't even, you can go on there and pitch them and you won't air. Some people don't even air. So I didn't want to go like talking about it and then something were to happen.
Yeah.
So you're saying like even if you get a deal, you might not even air on the show?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Even if
I feel like they would air every show. I mean, every business.
How many people are they are pitching a day? Do you know?
I think it's like, a day.
Or I mean, what are they recording over the course of multiple days?
Yeah, it's a couple of days. But I think they record about like 120 and maybe air like 90, something like that.
Oh, okay.
So like
pretty good
a
ratio.
good amount gets
Yeah.
cut though, so that's kind of sad.
Yeah.
But they'll bring you on like the next season and try again. So
Maybe those are the people that didn't pitch to the style that sounds like Shark
I
Tank.
know.
That's why everyone sounds like
I
they were
know.
trained by Shark Tank.
Yeah, no, it's craziness. But after the show, you can't tell anyone. So I ended up I started my freshman year at college. I went to University of Tampa.
Okay.
UT.
And and I remember like doing like sorority recruitment.
Mm-hmm.
Like they all dropped me, and then once you could announce Shark Tank, they're like, "Come on,
Come back! Oh,
back.
that's,
Oh,
that's
clout
fucked
chasers,
up.
dude.
Yeah,
that's
so,
lame.
Yeah, but it was a whole semester. I had to go like shutting my mouth basically, and then it was just such a cool thing to like be able to announce that and go back to school, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!" Like it's cool. Like it was really cool because you're young and like it was like it was my first like I mean that was a highlight of everything. So
Yeah, I'm sure.
was
You're
pretty
like
cool.
sort of famous.
it was like a night of fame. Like people were like,
Yeah.
"Can I get a picture with you?"
That's cool.
Yeah.
People asking for product, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Especially in college town, that's like your bread and butter.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, everyone wanted to know how the show was when I got back, but I don't know. You know like who your friends are when
Right.
that stuff happens. So,
Yeah, totally.
So that was interesting, and then I dropped out.
Oh, shit.
I think we
Yeah.
all did.
Did you
yeah,
guys?
yeah,
Yeah, I
we're a
dropped
room
out.
full of
Really?
dropouts.
I got my A's and I dropped out.
Oh,
I was
cool.
like,
Oh, I didn't even make it that far.
Me too, either. Yeah.
So, like, did you guys, you and your brother, he's equal business partners with you?
Mhm.
Did you guys have, like, a game plan for when we land this deal? Like, what are we going to do with the money? Like, did you come up with that number of money knowing, like, what the plan was for it?
Yeah, we took it all and we just bought more inventory.
Okay.
So it was $60,000. It's probably like 30,000 nightcaps.
Holy shit.
wow.
And so was that, like, the biggest order you had placed up until that point?
I think so.
And, like, you probably get a deal on the price for ordering more at a time?
Yeah, probably. But when you go on Shark Tank, you work with the producers and everything like that to... I'm not a master at the whole website thing, but you know how when a lot of people go on your website, it can crash?
Right.
Yeah, sure.
So
Yeah.
you have-
Overpopulated websites.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so you
definitely
figure all
crash.
that out. You order a lot of product because...
Yeah, because they know you're going to be
Yeah,
booming
you don't
as
want
soon
to be
as it
back
airs.
ordered.
So
Right.
we went from having $68,000 when we were on the show to airing on Shark Tank, and we made like I think it was like almost 300,000 like that night.
Holy
What?
shit.
Yeah.
So it works.
That's
You
so
know?
sick.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, And then, I mean, it's like what we did is we had a party and we watched Shark Tank on one side of the room, and on the other side of the room we had our website analytics up. So it was like 17,000, 18,000. It went up, like kept going up, and then it airs in California, and so it happens again.
Wow.
And then we have like the re-airings every once in a while, which are fun, but it's definitely not as crazy as the first initial time. Yeah.
That's nuts. What a drastic jump.
Yeah.
And so back to like your pitch on Shark Tank, I remember you guys talking about like what your sales were to date at that time, but also that a huge chunk of that number had just been done in the last 6 weeks. And so what was the changes that you guys made to your business model that caused that drastic difference from, I think you were doing like 4,000 in the month of May to then doing like 17,000 in June? What was the change that you made to cause that?
One TikTok video.
Fuck yeah.
Really?
That makes a lot of sense.
Wow.
So we said website optimization and social media marketing.
Right. Sure.
Because I believe it was like 2 days before Trump was like, I'm going to ban TikTok.
Oh, okay.
So we didn't want them to say, like, what if he bans TikTok, because we didn't know what we were going to do. Still don't know.
Smart,
if
yeah,
that
that's
does happen.
Yeah,
still don't know.
Yeah.
Because that's how we run our business, is literally through that platform.
Wow.
So we said those, and it's not lying. It's
No,
just,
100%, yeah.
It's just a different way of saying TikTok.
And probably even the more professional way to say it, you know?
100%.
Like TikTok might like...
Yeah.
If Mark Cuban isn't familiar with TikTok like that, you know, like social media marketing is like a term every business person is familiar with.
But it was maybe a 7-second video, and we sold like $40,000 worth of product, and it was
Holy
just
shit.
crazy. I mean,
Did you have the product ready when people were making all those orders?
we must have. I think.
Wow.
Yeah, I hope so.
That's sick.
I think my brother was probably figuring it out, like, order more.
Yeah.
But,
Holy shit.
Yeah.
And so you had a supplier overseas, right?
at that time, I think we were manufacturing in Dallas. We
Oh,
started
okay.
our first batch in Dallas, and then we moved overseas.
How do you like end up making that connection?
Just because it was a lot cheaper, like,
Yeah.
just because Dallas was, like, literally double the price.
And do you just, like, online, you make contact with someone overseas? You guys didn't go over there and,
Alibaba
like,
or
shop
something?
around?
I think it was, like, a friend of a friend.
Oh, okay. You had a plug.
We had
As-
a plug
as
of
kids
some
call it.
sort. Someone knew someone, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
As the Gen Zers say.
Okay, cool. So, I mean, at the time of you going on to Shark Tank, like, where was the business at that point? Like, it was already, you had a website already and you were established. What were, like, the major changes that you made after that point? Or did you not have to make any changes? You just kind of scaled things up?
Since Shark Tank, like, I mean, we have changed so much since then, but
In what ways?
everything we had was just like basic, like it was just average, because we didn't know what we were doing. We still don't know what we were doing, but like, who does, right?
You're learning
Sure,
as you
yeah.
go.
So, that's what my podcast is about, actually. It's like not knowing what you're doing.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Kind of us, too.
That's what I mean, though. It's like every successful person that you look at, it's like they started with not knowing what they're doing, and I'm sure they still don't.
Yeah, they're figuring it out as they go.
Exactly. But it also stops so many people from starting.
Yeah,
It's like-
absolutely.
Right. What was I saying?
The changes to the business.
Everything was just like very average. Like our branding, even the product, the logo,
Right.
our social media was very boring. Like everything was just like, we were just trying to like get the word out there about it. And I feel like until now, we really understood like the importance of branding, which Lori did help us with. She had a very long phone call with us about like what catches your eye and when you're walking in a store, like why does this product or why do these colors grab your attention,
Right.
and stuff like that. So everything is very different. You know, we started with one product, now we have like, I don't know, 7 or 8, I think.
Wow.
I still think like during COVID, that's such a hard time to start what you started, because I mean, a lot of people didn't have bars open. I mean, a lot of people didn't know when the nightlife was going to open again. So like to take a risk on something like that must have like really been appealing to them.
I think
Or at least to Lori too.
100%, yeah. And I think there's pros and cons to both, like to starting it in COVID, and everyone was in weird situations.
Yeah.
But it was like, I don't know, for me, like, I was just like a kid, so I just feel like there was really nothing to lose.
Yeah, 100%.
That was like your biggest
Yeah.
motivator? Like, I got nothing to lose?
Kinda. Like, I was just like, well, I'm 16, like,
If it
What's
fails,
the
it
worst
fails.
that's going to happen?
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
My brother had just gotten out of college, so we were living, like, with our parents. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a great point.
Yeah, so it was just a family project for fun. But I did see, like, I did have this vision in my head that it was going to be big because
Right.
I want, in the next 5-10 years, I want to see Nightcap be as normalized as a condom.
Yeah.
Right.
Damn, that's a good way to put it. Nice.
Yeah, that's a good...
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. So I just think it's, yeah, I mean, some people look at it, they're like, what is that? Some people are like, oh my God, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Either way, it's like, it's
Promo.
here now.
Yeah.
Use
No,
it.
that's great.
Yeah, yeah.
More people need to use it.
Right. So
Yeah.
I guess the goal
Just
is
like a condom.
right. But condoms are accessible everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
schools get them out. You know, they're at
Right.
gas
They're
stations. They're
free
everywhere.
at FAU.
They're free in a lot of places, and this should be something that's free too.
Right. So when you partner with bars, what is like what is the game plan when that happens? Like, is the idea for them to buy a large quantity and then when a girl gets a drink, they give it to them with it, or how do you like pitch that?
So we don't pitch it because it's like they're like, what are you talking about? What's a scrunchie that covers your drink? No,
Sure.
like
Right.
we don't pitch it often. Like, if they come to us, they've seen it and they want it, so they
Oh,
kind of
okay.
have an idea already of what they want to do with it, and it's always different. I feel like they're either selling them at the bar, putting them on the drink after they make the drink, or they're just like at the bar and you can grab one.
You
like
can
they're
grab
all
one if you
it's all
want one.
different, or like maybe they sell them in the bathrooms. You know, there's so
Yeah.
many things that they can do with it.
Yeah.
A big thing that has stopped us from selling to mainly music festivals is that a lot of music festivals don't provide straws anymore. So you need a straw to also use
For it to
products
operate,
like
yeah.
this.
Okay.
Yeah. And we also have
I feel like
yeah.
music festival needs this more than anything.
More than anyone, right?
100%.
100%.
The drug, I mean, there's so many drugs there.
Yeah, I've been to a lot of music festivals.
Yeah.
And that's like something that should be at every music festival.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys have seen our sticker product, but
Yeah.
so we have, literally looks like, it is a sticker, and we acquired the product from the UK, so they gave us the rights to distribute them in America.
Okay.
And the product's like couple cents for each sticker, so we can sell them to bars, and they're cheap.
And they're disposable.
They're
So
disposable.
what are these stickers? I have no idea about these stickers.
Literally just picture like a foil sticker, and so you
Okay.
take the sticker off, you put it over your drink, and then you stick a straw in, and the straw will go right through it.
Okay.
But what we've done is basically we're pitching these to music festivals, and we're selling them, or we're pitching it as ad space. So
Okay.
it's like, do the festivals, they care about your safety, but like it's not their main priority, but money is.
Yeah.
And like when, you know, Uber or Lyft comes and they want to sponsor, it's like, why not, instead of putting the sponsor's logo on the bathroom door, put it on the cup that's right in front of everyone's face.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can put QR codes on them and scan for your next Lyft ride home or something like that.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's just like you're advertising and you're also keeping people safe. But the thing that's holding us back is the straws. So.
Are you guys working on any sort of design that doesn't require a straw?
No, but we partnered with someone locally that they have like biodegradable straws. So we're trying to like kind of pitch it
They
together.
could come with the straw? Yeah, there you go. That's a good answer.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I'm excited for that too, because artists, I feel like you can buy the hoodies and all that stuff, but if you had an artist's name on the Nightcap, that's also
Yeah.
really cool merch, and like the artist cares about your safety as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a huge part of the product in general. And I mean, you even see it with Lori in the episode where she's super passionate just about the mission that you're trying to accomplish and the problem that you're trying to solve. And I think that was a big reason behind not only it just being a good product, but her liking the message behind it, you know? And I think that's something, who's not going to get behind a message like that except for like the predators out there.
Yeah,
like-
yeah. They're in my TikTok comments too.
Shut
Really?
up, really?
You get a lot of hate?
I mean, I guess that's considered hate. It's like, I could just go through the straw hole. I don't know.
Oh my God,
So
what a
weird.
savage.
Like, why are you guys exposing yourselves like that?
Yeah, what a fucking weirdo. Who would want to say that publicly?
I get it all the time. It's weird.
Really?
Mhm.
Oh, that's so weird.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least at the end of the day, you're still saving a lot of people doing that.
Yeah, no, 100%. And even when, like, I'm out with this on, like, people are like, oh, I could just, like, they start, like, playing with the top. And I'm like, I have never heard that one before. Like,
Yeah.
like, why are you not laughing? I'm like, because it's, like, the joke's, like, so old.
Yeah. And what a weird joke to make.
Yeah, so true.
It's such a bad joke.
Maybe
Yeah.
if it were funny or something, but
Yeah.
that's weird,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
Why are you
I
trying
know.
to find the loophole?
I know.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it's safe to say that social media has been a big part of growing this brand, right?
Oh, my God. Yeah, 100%.
So in what ways, other than TikTok, are you guys utilizing that?
We do a little bit of, like, Instagram Reels.
Sure.
And
Which is what, like Instagram's answer to TikTok, honestly, right?
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
yeah. But really all I do is take the TikTok videos and
Put it on Instagram.
put it on there.
Yeah.
We have a big following on Instagram and TikTok for Nightcap. Like, pretty sure our TikTok account is like 450,000 or something
Sick,
like that.
yeah.
But when I dropped out of college, I created my own account so I could kind of like put a face to the brand. And
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's what really like skyrocketed things.
People want to know who's behind the product. for sure.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
100%. And that's why influencers can come out with products.
Right.
Because people like the influencer. So it's interesting because I had to figure out how to do it backwards when you invent something
Had the
first.
product first.
And then people want, like, you have to make people care about you. So, yeah, it's just interesting. And we had a Shark Tank reunion in October. And so you had, like, all the Shark Tank companies in the same room. And I found out that I was speaking on, like, the TikTok panel like 30 minutes before it happened.
No way.
Yeah. And I'm sitting in a room with, like, there's probably 100 people in this room. And I'm just sitting there like, oh, my God. I'm like, what do I say? And then I realized, like, everyone overcomplicates the platform.
Right.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like talking about getting verified and this and that. It was about what do I post? Like, who are you as the founder? And like just showing your day to day and showing transparency and being relatable is so important in your business. Because when I look at a founder, I'm already connected to their brand. Like, I want their products because
Right.
I like them. Yeah, so it's so important. Just putting yourself out there. And I think as the founder, it's the most important. And instead of hiring someone to do it, I think,
You should do it.
yeah, I think it's crucial today.
Yeah.
Or if it's someone that's heavily involved in your business, that's fine too. But definitely showing, like, what are you doing from start to finish. Yeah.
So do you guys like partner with anyone as far as like social media goes? I mean, is there people who you sponsor or like are ambassadors of the product? Is that something you've gone into yet?
Yeah, we have like an ambassador program for like people who really believe in it and want to make some money off of it.
Sure.
But we do we have I think 2 influencers that are on a contract. They're like safety influencers, and they'll come out. I think it's 1 video a month or something like that. But do you guys know Brianna Chicken Fry?
I mean, it sounds familiar.
She's like the
but...
Barstool Sports girl. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Okay.
We got her right before she started working for Barstool. She was our first influencer, and she charged like $100.
Sick.
Really?
Now she's probably like $20,000.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Did you get it in the contract at $100?
Well, there was no contract. Like,
Oh, okay.
It was verbal?
yeah, like
Or
literally, it was just like, can we use
a
this?
DM?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So in the beginning, like during COVID, like no one knew what influencer rates were, and
Yeah.
and now it's like $20,000 for one TikTok.
Is
That's
it really?
oh my God. Depending on who it is, like, but
That's
but
nuts.
yeah, it's ridiculous, and that's kind of why I started my personal TikTok, because I was just like, we're not paying for this anymore, so
Yeah.
someone has to talk about it.
Wow.
Wow.
But the rates are crazy. I don't know if you guys have any experience in that. But
No, I haven't shopped
No.
around.
Oh my
that.
God.
That's nuts.
it is crazy.
Based on those rates, I don't think I'll be shopping around for a little while.
Please don't.
God damn.
Yeah.
I mean, as the podcast, we've had like a good amount of success with TikTok as well. I mean, not anywhere near the numbers that you're talking about with your page, but even just, I mean, from starting out, we just posted on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, and then we would post the full episodes on Spotify and Apple Podcast also. But for like clips and stuff, we would just upload the Instagram and Facebook, and we would do like average numbers, basically relevant to whatever our following was on like a personal level locally, But
Yeah.
then once we got into TikTok, and I think it's like back from the early days of the podcast, I told this story about when I was actually in Tallahassee going to school.
Oh, you did go to FSU.
I went to TCC.
Okay, cool.
For a very short period of time because I wound up getting in trouble for selling drugs.
Amazing.
And I got set up in a sting. And I tell this story on one of the first episodes of the podcast, and someone that listened, who was a friend of ours, we were at like a Super Bowl party or something, and this kid was like, bro, you gotta take that clip from the podcast and upload it to TikTok. That'll blow up. That's such a good fucking story. Like, upload that to TikTok and see what happens.
I love that story.
I've told it on many podcasts now, and that's our number one clip on TikTok. It's got like 250,000 views or something, which is still
Really?
small numbers as far as TikTok goes. But that's our biggest. We don't have 250,000 views if you add together the entire YouTube channel,
Right.
So TikTok, without a doubt, is like a powerful platform,
Yeah.
and we've ran with that too. Now we cut up like so many clips from each episode and upload those to TikTok just for traction. And it's even interesting to see how many people translate from watching the clip on TikTok and then watch the full episode on YouTube and will comment saying, I found you on TikTok. I love the podcast.
Yeah.
Which is surprising, because you think people are just kind of mindlessly scrolling on TikTok. That's sort of like the way the app is designed. But our clips that do the best on TikTok are also our episodes that do the best on YouTube. And I don't think that's a coincidence, It's from that transfer of people liking the clip and then following through on it. Just like, you saw a direct relationship between your clip blowing up and then converting to sales, and there's people leaving the app and going to look you up and buying the product.
And now they don't even have to leave the app. There's TikTok shopping.
Oh,
that just
shit.
launched.
That's a thing.
So we set
I
that
don't
up.
use TikTok
Oh.
like, at all.
You got to get on there, dude.
I
Catch
know,
up with the
I know.
times, dude.
No, it sucks you in though. I wouldn't.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
I get on there, I upload, and I dip.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you end up scrolling mindlessly for a while.
For hours. Don't even do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, now you don't have to leave the app, which is beautiful for business. But
Wow, that's great.
we
No,
just
that's
set it
great.
up like recently, and you could just tag your products in the video.
Wow.
So easy.
That's huge.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is there analytics for that? Like, you get to see how many people are buying from your TikTok store?
Yeah, I think it's like you have this many orders to ship out today from TikTok or something like
Wow.
that. But I was going to ask you, like, when you are posting your TikTok videos of the podcast, is there a certain kind of clip that you use for TikTok?
So the podcast in general has been, I mean, as far as like the stuff we talk about, I feel like it's pretty broad, like an episode like this is obviously pretty business oriented just because of your background and the experience you have. But we go kind of all over the place. We have people who have come over drug addiction, and gotten sober and now they're doing well. And we have people who went to Iraq and have PTSD and they're telling us how they're dealing with that. So, I mean, our topics are pretty all over the place. So it's really just like the powerful moments in every episode that I try to target. Because I do most of the editing myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I do all of the editing myself now. And
Feel so left out.
as I'm going through the episode, it's really just those moments where it's like, wow, that was good,
Yeah.
The powerful moments or
Yeah.
the things that I think are relatable, I think that's the biggest motivator, and the things that convert the most on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook are the things that are relatable, because
Yeah.
that's what's going to impact the most people.
Yeah.
So, to give you a specific answer, like, no, there isn't like a certain thing I'm looking for, but it's just when I watch the whole episode back as I'm editing it, those powerful moments that I think will hit home
They
with
stick out
a
to
good
you.
audience. That's what we try to, whether that's funny, I mean, like our last episode was just me and Kevin kind of introducing him as the new co-host, and me and this guy have known each other for a long time, and We were just shooting the shit. So there's a lot of funny shit that was involved in that, and a lot of goofy stuff. And I mean, like I said, our biggest clip that I have is just me telling a story of getting set up in a drug sting, you know? So it's all over the place. But then our second biggest clip is a recovering addict who is telling the story of like his lowest moment and how that, you know, changed his life forever, and he never went back from that. So, and then our third biggest clip is the guy who went to Iraq, who we went to high school with, you know, like he's my age. We partied together in high school, and then he went to Iraq, and it changed him for the rest of his life. He came back home. We interviewed him 6 months after coming home from however many tours he did in Iraq as a Marine, and he was in rough shape, you know?
Yeah.
And him just describing that and how emotional that was, and maybe even that doesn't relate to the majority of people watching the clip, but you probably know someone who went to Iraq, you know, where even just on an emotional level, you feel for this guy, you know?
It's just intriguing,
Yeah, so it's kind of all over the place as far as our content goes, but I think that's... it's also what makes us unique and like keeps it interesting every week, you know.
100%.
If we talked about business every week, like you said, we're all kind of figuring it out as we go.
Yeah.
So we've never claimed to be like business experts, you know.
Yeah.
I own my own business, but I'm figuring it out as I go, you know. It's all a learning experience for all of us at this age, and that's sort of what we like to chime on when it comes to the business thing, is talking about the struggles that we deal with, so that the other guy who is listening to this and is trying to start his own business realizes he's not alone dealing with those problems, you know, and it's not a cakewalk, even though sometimes that's how it looks on Instagram, because we all upload this highlight reel of our life.
That's exactly right.
But, you know, I think that's kind of what we've always tried to keep it, as like just being transparent and sharing the trials and tribulations of life in general, however that impacts whoever we have on that week.
I think it's crazy that you said highlight reel, because I 100% agree.
Yeah.
And I think that soon enough, like, it'll have to kind of flip itself upside down, and like, people are just sick of like, your life is so perfect and unattainable.
They want to hear the real shit.
They do want to hear the real shit, and that's why podcasts are so important and popular now, is because you get to actually listen to what's going on. And I think that it's like the social media that stops so much people from even starting or a career that they want to start, because they see the person they want to be like succeeding and reaching all these crazy points and accomplishments,
and it seems unattainable.
And
And
then once you're putting that person up on the pedestal, it's like then it is unattainable for you.
Yeah. And same with, you know, just the way social media goes and the fear of failure, you know. So it's like so scary to start your own business, because I tell all my friends I'm posting about it, I'm going to go do this thing, I'm starting this thing, and if 6 months from now it doesn't work out, it's going to be embarrassing for, you know, everyone on social media to see that, you know. So like the fear of what other people are going to think, you know, and I think that's a big part of it too, is just how now like our lives are on display because of social media, and a lot of people are, like you said, looking up to these influencers who, you know, have already made it to a certain point, and are just posting that highlight reel of everything working out for them. So the thought of you trying something not nearly at the stage of this person that's got millions of followers and already an established company and a successful business, and then it not working out for you is like, you know, also scary and embarrassing.
Yep.
But it goes back to something that we talk about on this podcast all the time, of like, you kind of have to not give a fuck about what other people think to a certain extent, because they're not the ones living your life. They're also not the ones taking the risk, and they're not the ones that are going to reap the rewards if it works out. So like, I think it'd be a lie for any of us to be like, I genuinely don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. It's a lot of people say that, but I don't know how many people really mean it. And I don't blame you if you mean it in like a small sense, but you also have to be able to push that to the side at certain points and say, this is worth the risk, you know, and like the pros outweigh the cons here of, I'm going to take this chance, and if it doesn't work out, it is what it is, but at least I know I tried, you know. I would rather take the chance and it not work out than go the rest of my life going through the motions and wondering, man, I wonder what would have happened if I would have taken that
It's
shot.
exactly right. And I think if you're listening to other people's opinions about not starting or whatever, you're literally living your life for that person.
100%.
And then also, it's like if you don't know what you're doing when you start, that means you're on the right track.
Yeah, sure.
It's a good way to
No
look
one's
at
got it figured out from day one. If it was that easy, everyone
Everybody
would do
would
it,
do it,
you
yeah.
know? But I think a lot of us that are building something are building it day by day and figuring it out as we go. And that doesn't mean you're on the wrong path.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just means you're innovating, you know? And there isn't a blueprint for a reason. It's because you're doing something other people haven't done before.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, and I think today, too, is, like, so crazy. Like, even what you were saying about your podcast, like, you got a certain number of views and people go and watch it on YouTube. It's like right now, today is the most perfect time to start anything you want because you can blow up anything you want.
Yeah.
And social media wasn't a thing, like, not that long ago. And now it's like TikTok is like you can reach anyone in the world with yourself, your product, your service, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that was not possible very short ago.
No, I love that point too because, you know, what I was just saying a couple seconds ago sounds like a negative pitch towards social media. You know, like we all hold ourselves up to these influencers' expectations, you know, and wanting to be like that. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I don't think social media is a bad thing because I wouldn't have my business now without it. You know, I run my entire tattoo business off of social media. Every client I book is done through my DMs. You know, like my business doesn't exist without Instagram. And this podcast would have a much smaller viewership without TikTok. So I think there's a huge benefit to social media. It just, it's a matter of how you use it, you know, and how you let it affect your mentality and your mental health. You know, some people I think take it to an extreme where they're counting the likes, you know, and they care a lot about the followers.
And checking every
right.
time.
That probably isn't the healthiest habit. But to say that it's a overall negative, I think is incorrect because a lot of us don't have a business without it.
Yeah.
So there's huge benefits to social media, but it's just a matter of getting through like the social standards of you need to have a certain amount of followers to
100%.
think you're acceptable or something.
Yeah. And how you use it is really important too because even what you said, it's just like you can Facetune something so easily, and
sure, yeah.
Now we can create pictures that aren't real.
Yeah. And like we said, it's a highlight reel where you could post. I could post the tattoos I do every day, but also I shouldn't use my own business as an example.
No.
But it's for the fitness influencer as an example. She's posting herself in the gym, and in her Gymshark gear that she's sponsored by, but then maybe she's miserable with her diet plan. She hates what she eats every day because she has to look a certain way. And, there's so many examples of people aren't going to post more often than not the bad shit on Instagram because that's not what they want to show the world. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean we don't all deal with bad shit. Mm-hmm. And even that influencer that you look up to that you think has the life that you want deals with bad shit. They might have anxiety, but they're not going to share that on their platform because they don't think that's what their audience wants to see.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean they're not just like the rest of us.
Yeah.
It's something I've learned, too, with doing this podcast over the years. We've had a handful of people on who are super successful and have huge followings. And then at the end, when we talk to them for an hour and we leave, and me and Nick go, damn, that was a normal-ass dude. He was just a regular-ass dude, And I think at the end of the day, we all kind of are, And I think it's easy to forget that, though, when you see the blue check on the Instagram and you see the however many 100,000 followers, million followers,
Mm-hmm.
It distorts people's perception on, like, the tiers of life. You put that person in a different category, but at the end of the day, they're just a person like you. And they probably went through the same shit you're dealing with now.
Yeah. Once I started meeting, like, actually people on the internet, I figured that out. Like, I was like, wow, they're not, like... when I meet them, I'm not going to feel like this crazy sensation, like, holy,
Yeah.
It's so normal. And they, like, I don't know, they're on that side of the screen, like, probably just wanting to live a normal life, too.
Yeah.
And just like you said, the influencers on the internet, even if you want to be like them, they probably want to be like someone else.
Sure, yeah.
So I always tell my girlfriends that, because you know how girls are with comparison. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's crazy. Like, you can even pay for the blue check mark now.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
So has that happened yet? I saw a post about that you're just going to be able to, like,
Yeah.
pay for it.
You can pay for it now. It's
Wow.
like $15 a month.
Yeah, I saw that. That's in effect
That's
now?
it?
You're about to see
Yeah.
with
I
the
would
blue
think
check
it'd be
next
way
week.
more.
Isn't that
15
crazy?
bucks.
Like, it's pretty cheap. Like,
That
if
is
you
cheap.
want it.
$15 a month. That's it.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
Just
I
kidding.
paid for worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a gym membership.
Yeah,
Planet
100%.
Fitness.
Wait, your gym membership is $15 a month? Mine's way more than that. I don't know why.
Where do you go?
I go to the LA Fitness right
I go to
here.
Planet
Oh, cool.
Fitness.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
But Nick, our former host, went to Lifetime for a
Yeah.
couple months, and
Shit was
that
like
guy was
car
paying a
payment,
mortgage
bro.
for his
Right.
fucking gym membership.
I know. I kind of wanted to go check it out.
So my girlfriend JoJo just went a couple weeks ago as like a guest for someone that like runs one of the Pilates classes or some shit like that, and she said it's fucking sick. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone that I know that goes there says it's incredible. I just
That.
don't know if I can justify it, to be honest.
I know.
But maybe if I did pay it, I would utilize all the extra stuff. You know, the way I look
Yeah.
at
That's
it
what
now.
you think.
That's what
Maybe if I
exactly
bought a
100%.
Lamborghini, I'd drive
I've told
more,
myself
you
that
know?
for years though about the
Yeah.
LA Fitness membership, where I
Yeah.
pay $40 a month, and I'm like, well, if I pay it, I'll go. You know.
Yeah.
And then I went probably an entire year paying for the membership and didn't even go to the gym. You know, I was in one of
Right.
those slumps.
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe at $250 a month, it might be a different story, but. I don't know, man. I'm
So crazy.
For now, I'm content. I'm like just now getting back in the gym and getting my shit together again, and I'll take baby steps into Lifetime. I don't know if
That's
I'm ready
just
for that
a
yet.
club or a networking event at that point. Like,
100%.
I would just go and like want to talk to everyone. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing
How
to
are
pay
you
for this
here?
gym?
Put a nightcap on your water bottle.
No, yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
much it. Yeah, that's what I would do at that gym. You're like, you're here to work out. Well, I'm not.
Yeah. I'm not. Well, I mean, it even seems like with all the amenities they have, most people may not be there to work out. You know, they've got a pool and a bar upstairs, you know? Like,
Yeah.
at that point,
Like
is
a
it
liquor bar?
counterintuitive? There's a liquor license, a
So
bar on the
wild.
roof.
Sign me up.
So I don't know who's going and hitting legs and then getting a JMO need at the pool, but
You would.
yeah, I was just speaking vicariously through myself. So talk to us a little bit more about the podcast. What made you take that step?
I took that step because a couple of reasons, but the first reason was kind of just like me talking to my friends who work 9 to 5s, hate their lives. It rhymes because, but yeah, talking to my friends and telling them these little things, you know, I just wanted it to be on like a bigger scale because I felt like I was actually helping them with like how they saw everything. And I also felt like, well, I basically explained it already, but the whole point of it is that I'm trying to show like aspiring entrepreneurs or aspiring anything, honestly. It's just like you have to start somewhere and you're not going to know what you're doing.
You just gotta do it.
It's basically
Yeah.
all about
Yeah.
that. And
So when you bring guests on, like what are the kind of guests that you're looking for? Is it people that are in the same boat as you that are, you know, running a business, or is it people that aren't there yet and you guys are having the conversation of how to get there? Like who are the people that you're bringing on?
so mainly business owners, can be content creators. So far, I had an artist come on because I really liked how, like, it's a lot. Most of the people that got there that I've had on my podcast, like, got there by accident or, like, got there not knowing what they're doing or self-taught themselves how to do what they're doing now.
Sure.
And I just had my second episode, my first guest was this girl, Allegra Miles, and she's local here.
Yeah,
Okay.
she used to sing at Bradley's.
Oh, really?
I used to manage Bradley's. She used to sing over there before. She's on The Voice, right?
Right. So she was on American Idol and The Voice, and we were both 17 on reality shows.
Wow.
And we just talked about starting your career at a young age and the pros and cons and, like, ageism and how she was booking her own singing gigs at 14.
No way.
Making her voice
I think she's
deeper on
playing
the
at
phone.
Sunfest this
She
year.
is.
Holy
So
shit.
it's funny because I actually met her last Sunfest. So I started the podcast, like, I ran into her last Sunfest, because I knew who she was, and I went and introduced myself, and now she's playing there. So it was funny, like, connection. And now she's living in LA, and I was asking her, how important is it to, like, surround yourself with people who are in the industry, because it can go both ways. It can be competitive, but it can also be really motivating.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I struggle with that, where I'm like, do I need to be surrounding myself with people who are doing really big things so I can stay motivated? And she said that it wasn't necessarily the people who are successful, but it's the people who are passionate. Because successful people can be unhappy or, like,
100%.
unmotivated. And passionate people, whether you're passionate about anything,
They care.
is what's motivating.
Yeah.
Just to, like, be around people who, like, want to do things is important.
Yeah.
And I mean, all my guests are pretty different, but the common theme is that we're all figuring it out. And it just kind of, it doesn't really matter, like, what they do. It's kind of how we discuss how they got there, and how everyone started from not knowing anything and how we still don't know anything.
Yeah.
But I think it's the most interesting that I'm talking about all of this, not knowing how to do things, and then I'm also figuring out what microphones to order,
Sure.
setting up the equipment, finding out what camera, how to film, how to edit,
Right.
how to like, every single thing is from me, and I'm figuring it out as I'm talking about figuring it out.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a great match right there. Whatever the opposite of the word hypocrite is.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I understand.
I'm going through the motions as I'm talking about just starting it.
Yeah.
Because if you even watch, like, my podcast, it's, like, in a dark room. I'm
Yeah.
like, this is crazy. Like, I'm just trying to get the message out, but
Sure.
it's not perfect at all. And
No, that's how it starts, though, man. I think even, like, some of the biggest podcasts that I watch, if you go back to their first episode, it's drastically different from the way they're producing now.
yeah.
And, you know, like anything we've done, like you did with your business, like I've done with my business, you kind of learn as you go. And so I think it's just, you know, part of the process, and you're focused on what's important, which is getting the message out there, building the brand, and then working out the kinks as you go.
Yeah, I also had a guest come on, and I found her. I had an article published with Business Insider a couple months ago, and it was called "Becoming the Face of Your Brand in 2023."
Okay.
And there were 3 people featured in the article. It was me, some random guy, and then this girl. And I went and looked both of them up, and she lived in Palm Beach Gardens. And
No way.
This is so cool. So I had her come on, and she started out as a teacher, a writing teacher, showing kids how to write when they're young. And now she's selling, like, books, and she competes with, like, Scholastic, like the big, like, the big stuff. So she's selling these books because she has a brand on social media, and she's telling the story of, like, how she was a teacher and how she got all these kids to pass their tests. And we talked about, like, the importance of writing and journaling as a child too, and it's super interesting. I like the whole, like, podcast. I'm just, like, learning so much, I feel like.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
That's, like, most of the content that I absorb now. I mean, I listen to podcasts.
I don't listen to music anymore.
I rarely listen to
either.
music.
Yeah.
I'm always listening to, it varies a lot. Sometimes I'll be listening to, like, motivational stuff. I've gone through phases of listening to business stuff. Lately, I've been on, like, comedic stuff, which, I mean, I love. It's super entertaining, you know. Maybe it doesn't add a lot of value as far as, like, helping me with my day-to-day life, but it's even just like an escape, you know, or like something to be entertainment, you know, just like the same reason anyone watches a series on Netflix, you know. And I think that's sort of why I like the way that we've developed this podcast, as far as it being sort of broad, and I'm okay with it not having a niche, being motivational or business oriented or just joking around all the time. I sort of like that it's all over the place, because it can kind of serve all those purposes and check all those boxes. But I mean, what would you what category would you put your podcast in? Or, like, what's your goal for the podcast moving forward? I know you're still into your first few episodes, so maybe you haven't established, like, an identity yet.
Yeah.
But what's your goal?
I think my goal is just, like, showing other people, like, that they can also do it, too.
Yeah.
But I was talking to my SEO guy, and he was like, I was like trying to put my podcast into all these words. He's like, no, you can't do this and that. So I would just say, like, I mean, it's entrepreneurial, but it's also, like, motivational, young entrepreneur. I don't know.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
It's not funny.
Sure, okay.
I'm like, it's not meant to be funny. I guess there's some couple jokes here and there, but, like, if you're trying to listen to something funny,
Yeah.
don't come to me. I guess it's just kind of what I explained before. It's a lot of, I feel like it's a lot of knowledge and just, like, random facts and learning experiences that people have had that they just come and share.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's great. I mean, I think there's definitely value added in that, especially coming from where you're coming from. You've experienced a lot of things that most people your age haven't, and even people much older than you will never experience, So you've got a unique perspective for sure. And using your network that you have to bring on people in a similar situation, I think will be super cool. I'm excited to continue to watch and see it grow.
Me too. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on. It was super cool getting to talk to you and see how you've gotten to where you are today. And I've got nothing but respect for the business that you've built and the product that you've developed. I think it's super cool, and it's without a doubt already helped so many people, and I think we'll continue to do that. It's cool to see the new products that you've put together and just kind of expanded on this goal that you have. It's really admirable.
Thank you. That's so nice.
Thanks for coming
Thank
on.
you.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
What else do you want to plug before we get out of here?
Our website's nightcapit.com. Our Instagram is nightcapit. TikTok's nightcapit, and Shirah on TikTok, SHIRAAH.
Cool. We'll put all those things down in the description.
And at In Your Dreams Pod.
Yeah, In Your Dreams Pod, 100%. Well, thank you again so much. And, guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Millennial Mentality Podcast. It is your boy Pete, back with Papo Taco. We will see you next Monday. Peace.
Later.
Yay!
But I've been outside getting money, I'm on my thug again. Tryna stack a little dub, tryna catch a win. And next time I drop a coupe, it's gonna be a twin turbo. Always, but I've been outside getting money, I'm on my thug again. Tryna stack a little dub, tryna catch a win. And next time I drop a coupe, it's gonna be a twin turbo. Always been a G when I ain't never been a herb though. Way I'm switching lanes, this shit's been a G when I ain't never been a herb though. Way I'm switching lanes.